The 2010 Camry. It's a mid-sized sedan that literally fits the definition of an appliance. No excitement, just get you to work, boring as hell. I mean, you can't get more invisible with this car. You just cruise through traffic and nobody sees you. There are so many of them. It is the white bread of automobiles. Under the hood of this Camry is a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder that produces 169 horsepower and 100 and not enough foot-pounds of torque. The AC drags noticeably at the engine's available power, and with the car fully occupied, would leave you with virtually no passing ability and white-knuckle merges into 70-mile-an-hour traffic. Poor acceleration. Maybe that's a safety feature?
Although it is a rare occurrence, your Toyota may experience a sticky accelerator pedal.
Toyota USA today announced the recall of 4 million vehicles.
Some Toyota owners say they're still having trouble with unintended acceleration even after the recalled cars were repaired.
Imagine the fear. You're behind the wheel when your car speeds up without explanation, unable to stop, creating a potential death trap.
This car was from the time where Toyota had the unintended acceleration scandal. Fortunately, this car has the brake override recall performed to it. And it seems to work well enough. With the gas pedal pinned to the floor, a firm press on the brake deactivates the throttle. Although, with the unintended acceleration, I feel there was a lot of hysteria, mixed with a handful of litigious people looking for a settlement. This was actually a real problem. It's not something that should be overlooked.
What should you do if your accelerator pedal sticks? If your pedal sticks and won't return to its original position when you take your foot off of it, step on the brake with both feet, using firm and steady pressure. Don't pump the brake pedal, as it will deplete the effectiveness of the brakes. Then simply shift into neutral, that's N for neutral. And firmly apply the brakes to make a controlled stop on the side of the road.
Unfortunately, the first physical interaction with the car plants the seed of doubt, as the European-style door handles retract with a tinny clunk sound, like an old aluminum storm door. The door seems like you're slamming it shut, no matter how softly you close it. Once inside, you wonder, where are the gauges? Well, they are blacked out until the ignition is engaged, only to reveal a collage of gauge faces with no bezels randomly arranged like an 80s movie ransom note. The door panels are made of a hard plastic, kind of like the plastic you find on a Rubbermaid trash can lid. The dashboard, however, is a soft touch material. Why? You rarely ever come in contact with the dashboard. The radio interface and climate control knobs are flimsy and poorly illuminated. Even in the daytime, they look like glow-in-the-dark toys you got in a cereal box. Below the flimsy HVAC knobs is the shifter, one of the most important interfaces to the car. It should leave the impression that it's bolted to the transmission, which is bolted to the chassis, and it's secure. When you put it in park, you can feel confident that you have locked the wheels with a mechanical parking pole. Yet, it's another attempt to Euro the car a bit with its zigzag shift gate. I don't know who's impressed by this. Shifting from drive to the sequential shift gate causes a clunk and a substantial shake in the center console. It's like it's screwed into the plastic console itself. The dash to the base of the windshield is massive and out of reach for cleaning. Thankfully, Toyota put a fault line on this continental shelf to mount a tiny little digital clock way off in the distance. It's so far at night sometimes you get the impression you have a clock as a hood ornament. The steering wheel is okay actually, it isn't cluttered with everything like an F1 car. The styling from Toyota and other cars from Japan at the time was downright ugly. How did the hump at the front of the hood become a trend? It's very reminiscent of the cod pieces worn in the 16th century. The side view of the car has a high belt line. But other than that, the car is totally unremarkable, until you get to the rear, where you see the trunk design. The design is clearly stolen from the most hated BMW sedan, the E65 7 Series. The rest of the world got a much better looking version of the Camry. A lot like our Lexus GS300, no codpiece and a better looking taillight. Driving this car is something else entirely. The platform feels rigid and cornering and over bumps. The car is perfectly dampened. No matter what bumps I throw at it, the suspension rebounds and is ready to handle the next task. Yes, it's a big car with a 4-cylinder. Luckily, the 6-speed automatic makes good use of the 4-banger, allowing for a quick takeoff with little protest from the tires. The larger displacement 4-cylinder in this car revs remarkably smooth. Not easy for a 2.5 liter. With its handling and rigid chassis, I could almost call the car sporty if not for the boat-like steering ratio. Is this a good car? Hesitantly, yes. I wouldn't stop anyone from buying one. Would I be hesitant to plink down $10,000 for the 7-year-old sedan with 60,000 miles that might try to accelerate on its own? Absolutely would hesitate. At that price point, there are much newer Altimas, Optimas, and Ford Fusions with much newer features and options. It would be a tough sell.